21 hilarious yet humbling things kids have said to their parents. In a public bathroom, "Mommy, why does your bottom cover the whole toilet seat but mine doesn't?" If there's one thing kids can do, it's keep their parents humble. You're a mom or dad just going about your day, feeling pretty good about yourself, and in comes your offspring to knock you down a peg or two. Granted, they're probably not calling you out to hurt your feelings, they just operate with a brutal kind of honesty that can be both harsh and endearing at the same time. We asked parents to share some of their funniest stories about the humbling comments they've gotten from their kids. Read them below. 1. My 3-year-old son told me out of the blue when we were playing the other day, "Mommy, you so beautiful." I said, "Oh, thanks buddy," and then he replied, "You look like Olaf, the snowman from Frozen." Mary A. 2. During COVID, when our school district was offering some in-person instruction, my kids were home 3 days a week and in-person 2 days a week. Our neighbor asked my then 5-year-old how his teacher was. He said, "My school teacher is really good. My home teacher, not so much. I was his home teacher." Sarah J. 3. After I put my pants on backwards, I laughed at myself and said, "Look how silly," to my then 5-year-old, who responded in a quite exasperated tone, "And you're in charge. Listen, dude, I'm as surprised as you are most days, but here we are. My life is the Pitts family on Facebook." 4. I was sitting across the table from my daughter, just the two of us, when she said, "I love Mom." "That's nice," I said, apparently unconvincingly, because she reached across the table to grab my arm like someone consoling a friend over coffee. "I like you, too," she said, giving my arm a slight squeeze. "It's just, I love Mom." As a parent, you don't want your kid to be a people pleaser, especially at the sake of their own feelings, so I loved that she wanted to assure me while also clarifying where I stand. Kevin Leferrier of @the Dumdads on Instagram. 5. Picked up my daughter, age 5, from preschool. She told me, "I made something for you at school today." And I was right. You do have grey hair. Maddie D. 6. Son in college called to tell me he had met the girl of his dreams. He gushed about her for many minutes, then said, "Actually, she reminds me a lot of you, but without the annoying parts." Kathy D. 7. When my son was 3.5, I took him to a water park for the day, just me and him. It happened to be that time of the month for me, and I was trying to discreetly take care of things in the bathroom stall we were both occupying. He not only noticed, but loudly and repeatedly asked me if I was bleeding because my penis broke off. There was a lot of amused but compassionate laughter to be heard in that restroom. Heather B. 8. While I was changing clothes in my room, and thus, naked, my daughter started singing, "Mommy has a big white butt," which, as you can imagine, was exactly what I wanted to hear in that moment. In these moments, I tried to respond with something positive or neutral, i.e., "Oh, that's just how bodies are, everyone's body is different," but inside I was thinking, "Wow, darling, you sure know how to make a gal feel good about her appearance." That being said, I do love how these kinds of observations, when they come from kids, don't have any judgment behind them. They're just naming what they notice about our adult bodies when they look at them. Mary Catherine Starr of @momlife_comics on Instagram. 9. I asked my son how old he thinks I am. He said 5,000. The grey hairs must be showing. Monique M. 10. I was sitting in my favorite chair in a quiet moment between chores when I saw my sweet daughter tapping away at a rectangular Lego piece, humming to herself. When I asked her what she was doing, she simply stated, "Being like you, Mom, texting, texting, texting." Well, first it struck me as funny because, at my age, I hardly have any friends to text. But she was calling me out for being on my phone too much, and it bothered me. Of course she doesn't see or understand all of the things I take care of via my phone, like my side business, school emails, appointments, etc., but maybe none of that matters. The point is, she notices I'm more focused on the phone than her. It has caused me to be more cognizant of how much I pick it up in my children's presence, and hopefully my kids will think of me as someone who bakes and plays games, instead of the tech zombie she thought I was. CJ Kelsey. 11. Being a working mum, preparing dinner is usually a mad rush. This results in what ends up on the plate being less than appealing. I had this reinforced by my 10-year-old last December when she supportively announced that her favorite gravy was my gravy with the lumps in. Laura P. of Late to the Party Laura on Instagram. 12. I got a new bag one time. It was second-hand and very boho chic. I asked my oldest daughter if she liked it. She said, I do. It's very you, old and worn out, but in a good way. Kristen C. 13. I was visiting friends at their place with my 5-year-old son Owen and they had served some snacks on the table. I picked up a cookie and Owen quickly said to me, Mummy, don't eat all the cookies, okay? So I replied, this is only my first one. Owen then said rather audibly for everyone to hear, at home you always eat all the cookies. Everyone laughed, but I made sure not to finish all the cookies that day. Debbie Tungov at Debitunget. 14. I'm a stay-at-home father of 4, one has special needs, and one is a toddler. So my time for reading is limited. From summer to December, my goal was to read 3 books, but I read 4. I wasn't a reader growing up, so this was exciting for me, so I shared this with the family at dinner. My wife asked my 9-year-old daughter Micah, well, Miss Smarty Pants, how many did you read? Then I see this eager smirk from across the table and her eyes slicing into my soul, so excited to share something. I say, is there anything you'd like to say? She said, that's real cute, Dad. I was so stunned that she said that to me. I thought to myself the most she read was maybe 10 to 15 books. She gets her iPad without saying a word and points at her total read books from mid-July to December that said 197. She looks at me with the most satisfying of smiles. If you wanted to challenge me, you should have read more books or had less kids. John Marshall. 15. How old were you when the Titanic sank, Mom? Buffy R. 16. I was explaining to my nephew, age 7, how I ask my kids to eat their protein and veggies first so they have balanced nutrition. My nephew says, I don't know what you are talking about, and my son says, don't worry, no one knows what she's talking about. Drea Z. 17. I recently started exercising more and watching what I eat. I've lost a little weight and my wife said I was looking skinny. I was feeling great about myself for around 5 seconds, and then my 3-year-old daughter chimed in. Daddy, you still have a big, hairy tummy. Honesty to keep me grounded. Aaron Martin of @Stayathomadad on Instagram. 18. A few years ago I decided to let my hair go grey and my high school-aged son said to me one day, Mom, it's a good thing you stopped coloring your hair. It didn't match anymore with your face, which is, no offense, somewhat slightly wrinkled now. It didn't match for you to have young hair. Alexia W. 19. My son asked me if I had makeup on and when I said yes, he said, well, you need more. Lindsay B. 20. In a public bathroom, Mommy, why does your bottom cover the whole toilet seat but mine doesn't? Damn it, child. Now I have to wait for everyone in this bathroom to leave. Jana A. 21. When I make my 5-year-old daughter's lunch before school, I like to ask what sounds good to her that day. She generally says either a bagel or a PB&J and some strawberries. A few days ago, I went and found her in the living room watching a cartoon before school. I bent down beside her, gave her a kiss on the cheek and asked, "What sounds good for your lunch today, sweetheart?" I accidentally outed my child and feel terrible. I screwed up and it's killing me, said the parent, after discovering messages on her daughter's phone. You're reading Between Us, a place for parents to offload and share their tricky parenting dilemmas. Share your parenting dilemma here and we'll seek advice from experts. A mum has opened up about accidentally outing her child during a routine search through her child's phone messages. The parent, who has two children aged 12 and 14, said when she gave her children phones, it was under the proviso that she and her husband could look through them at any time. She said recently her youngest child had been acting out, so she asked to look through her phone. But the 12-year-old was very hesitant to hand it over. When she eventually did, the parent swiftly realized why. I forced her to hand it over and I saw a conversation between her and one of her female friends. In that conversation her friend asked her if she has feelings for her and my daughter responded yes, said the parent. The conversation continues and the friend asked my daughter if she'd be her girlfriend and my daughter said yes. She then asked her daughter whether she had feelings for her friend, and her child started crying and admitted she did. I basically forced my daughter to come out and I feel terrible that those were the circumstances that had her tell me, continued the parent in a post on Reddit. She said she wished she could turn back time to that moment and not ask and added that she also told her daughter that she loves her and supports her, but still feels bad about the situation, saying, "I screwed up and it's killing me. What to do in this situation?" Therapists recognize that this is a difficult situation to be in for both the parent and child. There are no right or wrong answers with how to deal with these type of situations and it's dependent on so many personal and environmental contexts that is out of anyone's control in any specific moment and time, says Counseling Directory member Tina Chumman. What is important to remember is how we work through what can be described as a rupture within any of our relationships. As a parent, she did the right thing to advise both her children of the boundaries they are to maintain with having mobile phones at the start, and then the parents enforcing them when it's needed, which is what she did. It's the communication surrounding this that needs to continue and in the context of her daughter having had to come out. Keep the lines of communication open. Chumman, a psychotherapist and trauma specialist, advises the mum to have regular honest and open conversations with her daughter going forward. The first one might be about admitting how terrible she feels with how the situation turned out, which meant her daughter had to come out to her. The mother will need to explain the reasons for checking the mobile phone and relate it back to her being concerned as a parent for her daughter's well-being, especially as she had noticed how her daughter's behavior had changed, says the therapist. The mother should continue to have regular conversations with her daughter where she reinforces to her that she will always love and accept her for who she is and that there isn't anything she can do that would mean she would be loved any less. Work on building trust. The therapist also advises parents in this position to work on building more emotional safety and trust with their children. This can be done through spending more time together, asking questions to find out more about her daughter and her relationship, checking in with her regularly to see how she is feeling and how things are going with her new relationship, reassuring her that her parents will always be there for her to support her no matter what, doing things like creative activities that they both enjoy and also by doing reading and writing exercises which will promote more honest and open communications between the two, says Chumman. Counseling Directory member Leanne Barrett, a psychotherapist who works with young children and adults, advises the parent to ask open-ended questions that invite her child to share her thoughts, feelings, and needs. She might want to ask, "How can I best support you right now as you navigate this part of your life?" What do you need from me to feel safe and comfortable discussing your feelings? Supporting a young person in coming out involves creating a safe and accepting environment, she adds. Listen without judgment, validate their feelings, and let them share at their own pace. Encourage open communication about their feelings, educate yourself about their identity, and offer unconditional love and support. Therapist Laura Woodholden says, "The fact that this parent feels guilt shows that their child is loved and that the parent's remorse is because they truly want their child to be supported and happy." As the parent clearly knows the importance of their child's autonomy on disclosure of their sexual orientation, the therapist suggests perhaps she could support her child to be in control of other instances of when they decide to come out, for example, to other family members. And hopefully the parent's guilt will ease up over time. Woodholden concludes, "The parent gave unconditional love and support to the daughter, which was the best thing they could have done in those circumstances." How to politely tell people to not post photos of your child online. Although your child's protection is your responsibility, it can be extremely awkward to tell someone not to post a picture of your child online. With constant social media updates, people are always uploading where they are, who they're with, and what they're doing. But even if they have good intentions, posting your child's photo without your permission should never be acceptable. Trevor Cook, online privacy expert at Earthweb, explained why you shouldn't post pictures of your kids online. He said that once you post a picture on social media, it means you've granted that platform a license to that picture. They can now use it how they like on their social media site. A lot of parents feel uncomfortable sharing pictures of their kids, and though conversations can be difficult, there are ways to tell people you don't want them to post your kids' pictures. How to tell friends and family not to post photos of your kids. Tech and IT expert Rob Phelps at NetZen has given tips on how to tell friends and family not to post pictures of your kids. 1. The earlier, the better. If you're someone who does not want your kid's face plastered over social media, let people know as soon as you decide. There's no point waiting until someone has posted a picture for you to have the conversation. This might even mean telling them before your baby is born. 2. Explain why. Though it might be uncomfortable, you should try to explain exactly why you've made the decision to keep your children off social media. Explain your concerns about privacy and safety, and the loss of control over photos once they've been shared online. With AI advancing all the time, the photos shared online can be easily manipulated and deepfaked, creating a digital footprint that can live forever, without you or your child ever even knowing about it, says Rob. 3. Be clear and direct. Be clear about whether you want no photos at all or if you're okay with pictures being shared where the face is blurred. Being direct and giving them enough information will prevent misunderstandings. Avoid apologetic and vague language that can cause unnecessary discussions and debate about your choice. Be clear and firm, adds Rob. Hopefully, you'll only have to tell people once that you don't want them to post photos, but some people may think the rules don't apply to them. So if this does happen, you need to stay calm. Rob advises, talk to your friends privately to discuss the issue, avoid confronting them in the comment section, which will escalate the situation. Stay calm and be assertive, understand their excitement to share their joy about your new baby, but firmly remind them that you have requested they don't share photos of your child online. You can also then request that they remove the photos immediately, and reiterate your reasons why and what led you to making this decision in the first place. If they apologize and remove them, acknowledge their cooperation, and thank them for respecting your wishes, but make sure they're clear on your rules going forward. If they continue to resist, and refuse to take the photos down, consider contacting the site itself to get the photos removed, comments the IT expert. Finally, Rob says that even if just one person ignored your request, don't be afraid to revisit the discussion with everyone. Remind them why it's important to you, to reiterate your perspective and the potential impact on your child and your family. What it really means when ridges appear on your nails. Ever noticed those pesky ridges on your nails and wondered why they're there? Yes. Then you've come to the right place. As board-certified dermatologist Dr. Lawrence E. Gibson explained to Mayo Clinic, ridges on the nails may mean more than you think. And it's the direction they're going that's really important. If your nail ridges are running vertically from the tip of the nail to the nail bed, known medically as longitudinal ridges, then this can happen naturally over time due to the nail's natural cells. They could also be caused by skin conditions, such as eczema, or could occur in people who have thyroid disease, but that doesn't mean it's anything serious. Longitudinal ridging of nails is usually age-related and usually nothing to worry about, Dr. Angela Kim, a board-certified dermatologist, told Good Housekeeping. However, if you've noticed horizontal ridges going from one side of the nail to the other, it's a good idea to get checked out by a doctor. While there's no reason to panic, these ridges could potentially be a sign of a medical issue, such as Bowes lines. It could mean that your nails have become more seriously damaged, be a sign of peripheral vascular disease, PAD, or an illness such as COVID-19 or pneumonia. Those going through chemotherapy may also notice horizontal ridges, as could people with diabetes or a vitamin deficiency. But don't worry, because there are still plenty of treatments and preventative methods out there. No matter which way the ridges on your nails run, there are ways to treat nail ridges. Of course, if you're experiencing horizontal lines, or very noticeable vertical lines for that matter, the best way to deal with the issue is to speak to a medical professional. They'll be able to determine what's behind the ridges and provide a personalized treatment method. If your lines are vertical and you're certain they're not due to a medical issue, or you know exactly what's causing your horizontal ridges and you have approval from your doctor, then there are a few ways to treat the problem yourself. You may be tempted to buff the ridges out, but Dr. Sawyer O'Byrne, a board-certified dermatologist, told Good Housekeeping that may be a bad idea. It causes destruction to the nail plate, and it can make it thinner and much more likely to break, she shared, noting if you do have to buff your nails, don't do it more than twice a month. Dr. O'Byrne also recommended using a nail hardener after. Other ways to treat nail ridges? Try to keep your hands out of water. Board-certified dermatologist Dr. Noelani Gonzalez explained to Prevention that, just like overwashing your hair, washing your hands too often can strip it of the natural oils needed to prevent ridges. You could also try a ridge filler product, which will help reduce the appearance of ridges and make nail polish go on smoother. As they say, prevention is better than cure. And there are ways to stop nail ridges in their tracks before they become too much of an issue. One of the best ways to take care of your nails is through regular manicures. Ones that don't include cutting the cuticles, though, despite what you may have read. It is important to not remove your cuticles during manicures and to keep the area moisturized. Protecting the cuticles will protect your nail matrix stem cells so that your nails stay healthy and grow normally, Dr. Angela Kim explained to Good Housekeeping. And that may also include, shocker, we know, bare nails days for a break from polishes. Because of that, when we say manicure, we don't mean constant harsh gel manicures. If an electric file or aggressive scraping is used, the nail matrix can be damaged and the nail plate can develop surface irregularities or also become too thin, dermatologist Dr. Dana Stern told Allure. And that process could worsen ridges. Regular moisturizing of the hands and nails can also be a great ridge preventer, because it can help to protect the keratin and minimize the appearance of ridges, shared board-certified dermatologist Dr. Donna Hart to prevention. Another tip. A change in your daily routine may also help. Dr. Dana Stern told Birdie, regular cardiovascular activity will help with peripheral perfusion to the digits, blood flow, and help with ridging. The legging legs trend on TikTok proves body discourse has jumped the shark. Just when we all thought we had reached the golden age of body confidence on social media, TikTok decided it was time to test us. The latest viral trend, called leggings legs, involves people sharing videos where they lament not having legs they believe are good, thin, enough for wearing leggings. Although it's unclear who exactly began the trend, it's believed that it all started after one woman was told in a TikTok comment that she had perfect legs for leggings, prompting thousands of viewers to then compare their own legs to hers, fueling thousands of self-critical rants. Similar to when social media users were encouraged to believe having a thigh gap was the ideal in 2014, it's oh so disturbing. So disturbing, in fact, that TikTok actually went as far as to ban the trend. And not just in the US either, as the trend has gone viral globally in a short amount of time. A spokesperson for TikTok Australia confirmed the ban to news.com.au, sharing, when people search for #legging legs or content related to eating disorders, they are shown a pop-up with a link to the Butterfly Foundation. TikTok is an inclusive and body-positive environment, and we do not allow content that depicts, promotes, normalizes, or glorifies eating disorders. But is this sad trend proof that we've regressed when it comes to inclusive body confidence promotion on social media? Though leggings leg might seem like a one-off trend, it's arguably part of a greater, and more insidious regression in body discourse that's been happening over the past few years. Even though body positivity and body neutrality had become omnipresent, body-shaming trends gradually started creeping up again on social media after 2020. Body checking, which seemed harmless on the surface, soon evolved into people bragging about thinness, prompting a surge in people sharing videos of their dream body. In 2022, some TikTokers suggested these changes in attitude were related to Gen Z's sudden interest in Y2K fashion trends and aesthetics, prompting a heralding of the thin body trend of the past. Even more seemingly innocent videos like "Is the outfit cute?" or "Is she just skinny?" series, which attempt to discourage people from making bad fashion choices, contain the implied message that certain clothes should only be worn by thin people. Leggings leg is arguably no different, as it's telling people that they need to have certain legs in order to wear them. Because TikTok videos have the ability to reach so many people so quickly, harmful messages, such as the notion that there is such a thing as an ideal leg for leggings, can spread globally before there's even chance to remove them. This is problematic, considering that per one National Eating Disorder Association poll, young adult users who are active for more than 2 hours on social media on a regular basis are more likely to have body image issues than those who did not. Couple that with the recent rise in Ozempic, aka the drug many celebrities are using for rapid weight loss, and it makes sense that people feel pressured to look a certain way. Although the rise of body-shaming trends like leggings legs is concerning, the silver lining with platforms like TikTok is that content which calls it out is equally capable of going as viral as the original videos. Following the surge of leggings leg videos, numerous TikTokers have spoken out against the trend, and in no uncertain terms. This includes influencers who lived through the danger of the thigh gap phenomenon. "Let's not do that again. Let's not go back there," TikToker @NotSophieSilver said in a now viral video, with more than 1.9 million views. "If you want to wear leggings, wear leggings. Your legs look beautiful in them." Some experts have hit back, too. It's yet another inappropriate way to body-shame individuals. Dr. Samantha DeCoro, the Renfrew Center's Director of Clinical Outreach and Education, told CBS News. These types of trends are destructive. Body dissatisfaction is a major risk factor in the development and maintenance of an eating disorder. But while it may sometimes feel like a losing battle to spread the word of body positivity in a world so obsessed with appearances, the most important thing we can do is keep going. And when destructive trends like this one pop up, it falls on us to push the negative videos out by replacing them with the truth. That all bodies are beautiful. As therapist Holly Essler put it on TikTok, do not let social media tell your body that it is a trend. If you have a body, and you have leggings legs. Regular sit-down dinners with your loved ones have some major wellness benefits. The concept of the family dinner is relatively new in American culture. Before the 18th century, families would eat in shifts. Not only because dining room tables as we know them today didn't exist, but neither did the space and time for such a luxury. By the 19th century, more families started having the necessary room for a sit-down dinner, and as the middle of the 20th century rolled around, sit-down family dinners, especially the ones we see in Norman Rockwell paintings, officially became part of the American landscape. Although sit-down dinners were initially regarded as a place to catch up and talk about your day with your loved ones, the mental health benefits go beyond just spending time with each other. We don't need studies to know that gathering as a family in a positive atmosphere is good for us, dietitian Marian Jacobson told WEBMD. It brings us together, promotes closeness, and shows kids that food matters. As the great chef and author Anthony Bourdain said, the perfect meal, or the best meals, occur in a context that frequently has very little to do with the food itself, and it's true. A meal may be spectacular, but it's the company, the conversation, and the memories born from it that make a meal what it is. Even if you don't realize it at the moment, every sit-down dinner you have with your loved ones is positively contributing to your mental health. When sitting down to dinner with people you love, the conversation is rarely shallow. It tends to be a deep dive into feelings and emotions, because it's a safe space of mutual respect. It's not just a cozy place of warm fuzzes, but one in which everyone knows they're surrounded by people who have their back and those who will always go to bat for them. Knowing this doesn't just encourage feelings of security, but also gives people the freedom to talk about things that they may find embarrassing, awkward, or taboo. It can be a time and a place to address subjects that might need unpacking. According to a 2015 study published in Canadian Family Physician, adolescents who participate in family meals are less likely to suffer from disordered eating, substance use, depression and anxiety, and suicidal ideation. The researchers also found that sit-down dinners were linked to increased self-esteem and success, academically and socially. When people feel the support that comes from having a meal with loved ones, they're inherently more likely to stay away from risky behavior. So while you may not think your dinner-time tete-a-tete with your nearest and dearest is going to have a lasting impact, think again. Everyone at that table benefits in their own way, and you're all better for it. Stress is a worldwide issue. According to the American Institute of Stress, 55% of Americans report being stressed in their waking hours and 35% of the world population reports the same. The effects stress can have on the body are detrimental, ranging anywhere from body aches and mental disorders to heart disease. While there are many ways to deal with stress, one easy way is a sit-down dinner with loved ones. Sharing meals with others is a great way to reduce stress, boost self-esteem, and improve social connection, particularly for kids, Associate Director of Preventive Cardiology Erin Michos, M.D., MHS told American Heart Association. Chronic, constant stress can also increase your lifetime risk of heart disease and stroke, so it is important for people to find ways to reduce and manage stress as much as possible, as soon as possible. It's also worth noting that the number one killer of women in the US is cardiovascular disease, with 1 in 3 deaths every year. Heart disease is considered one of the 3 top silent killers for women due to the lack of awareness surrounding it. As much as our loved ones can sometimes be annoying or even straight up aggravating, our connectedness to them is paramount to our wellness. Because of this, making time for regular sit-down dinners is something to consider. It doesn't need to be every night, but a few times a month can be beneficial. Does wearing more makeup really make you more attractive? All you need is 30 seconds in Sephora to know that people love makeup. Some like to keep their look clean and simple, while others love to be at the helm of the hottest makeup trends with bright and bold colors that aren't just eye-catching, but show-stopping. Makeup is personal and unique to everyone who wears it and, for many, it's not just something that's put on as an afterthought. Rather, it's as significant as every article of clothing they wear. While makeup may be part of one's personal style these days, we can't ignore the fact that it's long been thought of as being designed to make the wearer more attractive to other people. But that wasn't always the case. In fact, some historical records show that as far back as 4000 BCE, Egyptians wore elaborate makeup because they believed it appealed to the gods. In the centuries that followed, makeup was worn by the upper class to show their place in society or to cover scars, think Elizabeth I, acne, or signs of aging. But it wasn't until the early 20th century that cosmetics as we know them today were marketed toward people as a way to look more attractive. But, putting aside what the Egyptians believed the gods preferred, is there a direct link between makeup and attractiveness? Well, like most things, it depends on who's doing the deciding. However, according to some science, it appears that wearing makeup is doing you more favors than you probably realize. According to a 2021 study published in Frontiers in Psychology, makeup actually does make people more attractive. But it's not that simple. In this study, participants, which consisted of 64% female, 32% male, and one non-binary person between the ages of 18 and 53, were given 35 images of women who had applied their own makeup, in varying degrees of heaviness. The results showed that both faces with light and heavy makeup were considered more competent than those without any traces of product, while faces that rocked a heavy makeup look were regarded as not just more attractive, but having higher levels of sociosexuality. As the report pointed out, these 2021 results were in direct opposition to previous research that had found that light makeup was more attractive. In fact, a 2014 study published in the Quarterly Journal of Experimental Psychology found that its 44 participants, both men and women, considered less makeup to be more appealing. However, what's interesting about this particular study is that the women party pants were also asked who they thought the men would consider most attractive, with many assuming that they would prefer more makeup. But that didn't end up being the case at all. Although these studies were conducted roughly 7 years apart, they say a lot in what people assume about strangers based solely on looks. For example, attractiveness due to makeup use is somewhat understandable, at least on the surface, but perceived sociosexuality and competency seem like a big, if not bizarre jump to conclusions. If you gathered every study ever conducted on whether or not makeup makes someone more attractive, you'd encounter results that support both sides. That said, for the reports that have concluded makeup undeniably enhances a person's physical appeal, understanding why this is the case is just as important. To do that, in 2022, a team of researchers at Gettysburg College conducted 6 studies, focusing on attractiveness based on symmetry, typicality, age, femininity, and perceived health. In the end, they found makeup affected people's perceptions of just 2 of the categories. Makeup makes faces look more attractive by making them look more feminine and more healthy, the study's author Richard Russell tells PSY Post. We think that this happens because makeup manipulates visual features that are associated with whether a face is male or female, and whether it is healthy or unhealthy. But why would someone more feminine and more healthy be regarded as more attractive? Evolution, of course. According to a 2022 study by Texas Christian University, healthy-looking people are deemed more attractive because it's assumed they have better immune systems, making them able to fight off infection, disease, and ultimately have healthier offspring. Perhaps it's a cue to people's genetic qualities, including their immune function and the capacity to pass on that good immune function down to their children, research scientist Summer Mengelkock, MS tells New Scientist about the study. In other words, you may think you're being original in your mate choices or in what you find attractive, but everything we do and think is the result of our evolutionary programming. Although beauty is ultimately in the eye of the beholder, one thing that's pretty undeniable is makeup's impact on one's self-confidence. According to a 2022 study published in PLOS One, although the relationship between wearing makeup and self-esteem is nuanced, overall, women experience a big confidence boost when they wear makeup. Similarly, a different survey of 2,000 American women by OnePoll found that 75% of women feel more empowered when they're feeling secure in how they look, and 91% of those with beauty routines find makeup to be a source of confidence, per SWNS Digital. And what does confidence lead to? Attractiveness. When people feel their best, there's no stopping them. The way you enter a room or share a glance are indicators of your confidence working for you or against you, matchmaker Denise Levi tells Business Insider. It is all about your smile, body language, and even eye contact. When you feel odd or awkward, people can pick up on that uneasiness, which will equate to whether or not you are perceived as attractive. While there's an evolutionary reason for why makeup makes people more attractive, it's certainly not the only component. There is no one thing that determines if someone is attractive, and it would be remiss to suggest otherwise. What we find good-looking, on an evolutionary or superficial level, is subjective and has more to do with who we are than the person we're considering attractive or not. Because of this, the grand takeaway in regards to wearing makeup is doing what makes you feel most attractive and owning that decision. Beauty is more likely to be found in authenticity than anything else.